Riders ready, watch the gate.
Hey, welcome back to the Dirty Knobs podcast. I'm your host, Hollywood Mike Miranda. My co-hosts are, as always, JV James Vicente and EC Eric Carter. And this episode is special because it's our first show for the fourth season. Can't believe it, 4 years. Holy Hannah. Listen, this is awesome. Please do me a favor, do us a favor. Like, subscribe, comment. It helps us out. But more importantly, tell your friends about our show. If you enjoy it, hopefully they do too. So pull up into the man cave or whatever you're doing and enjoy the show.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. I think
Not an uh-oh. Don't start. No. You don't start the new year with an uh-oh.
Give me a second.
You can't start with an uh-oh. Hey, you hear any static on my end?
No.
Good.
No. Do you hear static on my end?
No. Do you hear this?
Yeah,
You hear that on my end?
I heard that.
All right. What's on the menu, JV?
Oh, I'm gonna guess I'm gonna guess some type of loaded nachos.
I'm gonna go with Friday.
We got.
I'm gonna say fish tacos.
Fish tacos.
You guys guessing what was dinner?
How are we doing? Are we close?
What was it? I shouldn't say was. What is it?
No, it was. They were ready when I rolled in.
It's
like scarf them down.
It's a
What-
they,
let's see,
so
what-
it got to be
should-
tacos.
Yeah.
Shit, I was wrong. Yeah.
Was it fish tacos?
It was not.
See, the Catholic in me, JV. It's the Catholic in me. I went with fish on
Friday.
Fridays. Fish on Fridays.
Not fish on
turkey.
Friday every Friday.
Turkey
During Lent,
tacos.
fish on Friday, babe. Fish on
Turkey
Friday.
tacos. Sometimes we do it with turkey meat.
Oh,
Turkey
Boy,
tacos.
it's hard to get more Caucasian than that right there.
It is,
Turkey
I know.
tacos on a Friday.
Dude, the only thing that would have made it more Caucasian is if I would have put sour cream on there.
And cheese. Sour
So
cream
good.
and cheese and shredded lettuce on a taco.
It's amazing.
Oh man, that's
I've got a kid that races, and he's Hispanic, and he was telling me about he went over to a friend's house, and they made tacos. He was like, dude, he was shaking his head because his dad grew up in Mexico, so they eat authentic.
yeah.
see
What's
that?
it in-
See that? That's 4. That's how many ingredients are in a taco, and that includes the tortilla.
Yep.
So what is it? Meat, cheese?
No cheese.
Strike 2.
Oh,
There's no
really?
cheese in a taco.
There's no cheese in a taco?
No.
You want me to take a shot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tortilla, meat, cilantro, and
Mm.
onions.
And onions. Oh shit. Okay.
The only thing you can, and you add to this, and I don't count this as an ingredient because it goes in everything, is hot sauce.
That's right.
You put chili on
yeah.
You put chili on everything, so that doesn't count. Chili is like
Oh.
oxygen. You have to have it on with everything.
Dude, speaking of oxygen,
What is
What
that?
do you got there?
I'm hanging out with my friend Mo.
Oh,
Oh.
Mo, Dell.
JV?
I'm hanging out with my buddy Don.
Oh, that's another O. That's another O.
Another O.
Yeah, that's
I think they're
Fulano.
relatives. I think they're relatives.
Fulano. That's Uncle Don.
Yeah.
Dude, JV turned me on to Don Fulano.
Dude, JV, what's the hat? What do you got on? Let me see the hat.
Oh, what?
Oh my God.
It's sponsored.
Those hats come with a tube of lube.
Watch JV
It's
go
on
like this.
It's on the back.
Yeah, JV go like this. I bet it creaks. It creaks.
Where's the bolts to tighten that thing?
They're in the back.
Yeah, instead of the snapback, it's a bolt.
It's plastic
Hollywood,
bolts.
what do you got? What's yours, Hollywood?
Dude, I'm rocking the Spoke Folk.
Spoke
Yeah.
folk.
Spoke Folk. That is
that
an
a hard-
event. That's the vintage BMX event in Virginia. Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Is that a Haro drawing?
Yeah.
Yeah. That looks sick.
Oh, wait, there's three
It
of
looks,
them.
fellas, it looks vaguely similar.
And there's one guy going like this.
Yeah, and then one other guy on the
hard.
other. Yeah. It looks very similar.
Bob. Yep.
Yeah.
He's
Hey, Bob,
rearranged.
not a lot of creative effort thrown into that one.
He just
I'm
rearranged the
just
people.
Yeah.
I'm just running stock Dirty Fest. This is my favorite hat, man.
I love that. Wait till you see
Oh,
next
JV's.
time. The next time.
You cooking up some stuff, JV?
Oh no, it's gonna be a nice little.
How about your shirt? What do you got? What do you got?
Dirty Fest.
Dirty Fest.
Wait,
yeah.
do you have a black shirt on? No, I got a hoodie. It's cold over here in South Miami. I don't even want to say it like that.
Yeah, it's
Brother.
freezing in South Miami.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. It was like 40 something degrees this morning.
Oh,
That's amazing.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's did you see the panhandle? It's snow. It's like legitimate
Yeah, it
snow.
snowed.
Yeah.
I saw somebody posted a lot of the guys that race Supercross, they have facilities back in Florida, and somebody posted a picture, an overhead view of all the Supercross tracks covered in snow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much snow is
I
there.
got this shirt on, Hollywood.
Yeah, what do you got?
I got this one.
Oh, he wore Mike.
One of our fans made custom T-shirts for all three of us,
Yep.
and I just delivered that one to EC. I love it. That's because he says it all the time, right?
Yeah.
God, I love it.
JV, what did yours say?
Mine was watch the light and it was beep beep, but it was about like honking at a traffic light.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. JV's one hand on the horn all the time. Mine said, "Mijo, you're no good."
Yeah, you wore that shirt the other day.
I wore it to the SoCal Nationals, to the BMX Nationals where JV and I went.
And then we went to the Mexican restaurant. You had it
And
on.
then we went to a Mexican restaurant, and my shirt said, "Mijo, you're no good."
Oh my God.
Dude, the mariachis were playing. It was fantastic. JV took me to a legit Mexican restaurant in Los Angeles, and we walked in. The mariachi, I mean, full blown mariachis coming. The mariachis coming singing at our table. It was fantastic.
Thank you, JV. Did you know about that spot prior? Did you?
No, dude, it was just near the hotel. It was next door to the hotel, basically.
You just got lucky.
And we walked in, didn't know we wanted to go to the bar, and sit at the bar and get something. And they're like, "We don't have a real sitting bar. You just got to sit down."
Well, that's not exactly the way they said it. East no bar. East no bar. So we sat down at the booth, and dude, I heard a little bit in the corner. I hear them warming up. My eyes got all big. JV said something. Dude, didn't they play at your wedding?
No.
And they did. It was just similar to the ones that played at my wedding. It was great.
It really was. Yeah, I'd never been to a place like legit like that. It was.
They're fun, man.
Yeah, it was totally everyone. They've been there a lot of times. You could tell they were all getting into it and singing with the guy. I mean, it was a pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
place.
there's a couple of spots down in Old Town San Diego.
Yeah.
And they're outdoor patio style places to eat. Like, it's awesome patios, and the mariachi band goes around, and it's a good time, man. They definitely make the atmosphere a lot more fun.
It was so good. They went to this one table full of people, and they would sing it along, and the whole table was singing along. And then he goes to the next table, and a whole bunch of Mexicans, and they're all singing along to the song. And then he walks over to our table. He looks at JV and I, and then he walked to the next table.
He kept going.
He goes, "No, you see, no."
He wasn't gonna kill the vibe.
They don't know the
Oh,
words.
no.
They don't know the words. I told JV, I go, listen, JV, once you get the tune, all you have to do is get the melody,
Yeah.
and you can read the menu.
Oh no, it was great. Mike was doing it great. I wouldn't be able to pull it off, but
Just read the menu in with the melody. It's El Menudo con Burrito, the number 7. It was great. It's fantastic. We had dude, we were laughing, having a great time.
We missed you, man.
Imagine if it was you were there with us. It would have been.
Oh my man, we should have just recorded. We would have
been singing. We would have been singing.
Yeah. I gotta show you while we're doing merch. This isn't something we have for Dirty Fest, but this dude, and I have to plug him, Grant Hansen, guy from New Jersey, a Braddock dude, and then race season. So he's like a mid-80s and then getting into 90s BMX. He started this company, BMX Stream, and it kind of like fell apart, but he brought it back together, and he said, hey, I'd love to send you something, New Jersey guy. And I said, for sure, of course, that's what we do. We'll help out. Love to help you out. Yeah.
It's like Ultramax.
It's like Ultramax, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's he's still into it. I think he still races every once in a while. He does kind of like a modern thing, but he's an older guy like us. And I said, don't get hurt, brother. Yeah. Don't get hurt.
It's gnarly out there, man.
Yeah.
For the old dogs.
Brother, I'm like, I haven't been to I know you guys went to the Grands a couple of years ago. You went and watched the races. Yeah. This is the first race EC that I've seen in modern day.
Really? Like before that, the last race was when
Matt Hayden told me he needed to practice.
He told me that I sucked. Yeah, basically.
At Woodward.
No, it was a national in Pennsylvania somewhere.
Oh, I thought he told you that at Woodward. Well,
no. Yeah, but he was right though. I wasn't practicing, and you're just not going to do well when you don't practice. I mean,
JV flew home with his bike in the box, and it hasn't been out since.
And it's still in there.
The CW box is still zipped shut.
With all the shit that you stuffed in there when he wasn't looking.
That's right. He's got the phone book from whatever town we were in, or stuffed in his bike.
It's actually going to be worth money now because it's so old.
Yeah. All of the little pamphlets that were in the lobby for all the local attractions, they're all in his golf bag, in his bike bag, where I stuffed them in there.
Exactly.
Dude, I did that so many times. Oh.
I'm gonna be pissed when I open that thing.
Hey, but we did watch some of the modern racing, and we witnessed Stu Thompson's return.
Yeah.
And man, he was so strong down the first straight. I mean, he got a mediocre start, but just powered past everybody down the first straight.
No way.
Yeah, and then somebody caught him in the first turn, and then in the second straight again, Stewart just left the guy, was powered past. But then going into the second turn, there was like a triple step up thing, and it dropped off steep into the turn. And and he pulled up, and his front end got high. And so I saw him dropping down into the turn with his front wheel high, and then we heard the crowd go, "Ooh!" And so he got hurt. He got hurt. I talked to him today. He's just a lot of deep tissue bruise. No broken bones, no broken pelvis, but deep tissue bruise.
Dang it.
Yeah. Somebody mashed the burrito supreme.
Man, I didn't see him. I missed him over there. But yeah, I heard he was going pretty fast. But this is what I was gonna say is like it's a different game. And that ground is no joke. That is hard dirt.
Yeah. And with so many features, man, that like, especially, with the way the rhythms are, they're good because they're rounded, right? And they're smooth and all that, but they're good until they're not, man. And you see some guys get tired and the legs
Oh.
get a little stiff, man, and then they get bucked. And
That's right. That you can tell. They get loose, and then it's just done. Yeah.
Right into the face of the next jump.
Yeah, but I got to tell you about all the chatter on Friday. All the chatter on Friday was when you came out of the second turn, they had moguls.
I saw.
They had moguls just like Dirty Fest. They had people going, "Hey man, they got Dirty Fest moguls."
No
I was like, "Man,
way.
we should have trademarked those things." And I had more than one person ask me, "Hey, you want to do a clinic on how to take the moguls? You used to race those."
No, I love it.
That was great.
You know what? You know what was kind of like, I want to say interesting about that when people went to the track and they saw those moguls, I'm sure EC, you saw it. It was on social. Like a lot of people were like, "Is this thing real? Is it crazy?" And I'm like thinking to myself, that was kind of the cool thing about racing every weekend in a different place is you didn't know, unless it was like, South Park or you looked forward to those tracks because you knew kind of what the track was going to be like. It was going to be awesome, but some tracks you didn't know like what they were going to put together.
And indoor and they were and the course builders, course designers were
Dude, they were making that shit up as they went along.
They were literally, right? I mean, like they would go, they'd start building jumps and stuff, and they get you in the straight and be like, "Oh, we're out of room. Put a turn in."
Oh man, we're running low on horse manure.
Yeah,
dude, and it was week to week. It was completely different dirt too.
Yeah,
but
it was crazy.
But I think that I don't know. Hopefully the USA Cycling, hopefully those guys or USA BMX gets saw that because the social media, everybody was talking about it, right? And that was something that I remember, and it's something we've talked about. The first thing you did, like when you would go to Grands, man, the first thing you do run in, man, because you want to see what the crazy feature was going to be.
Yeah, that's right.
And
are we starting up in the stands or down on the ground?
Right.
Yeah.
But now I think with the way that the tracks are, and I love that they have come out of their box a little bit and decided to do some creative stuff. You can be up to speed on a modern day track in 2, maybe 3 laps of practice. Like there's nothing that you never slow down for the turns, right?
Right.
And the rhythms are, it's like, oh, this one's big, this one's small, this one's big, this one's small. But there's no creative stuff where you go like, man, how do I figure that out? What am I going to do? How am I going to do that different? Maybe if there's a pro line. So I love it that they're thinking outside of the box a little bit and they're willing to do that. Like, I mean, that's awesome.
Unless you're Camel Joe or Dick Cheeseburger, it's watching everyone's the same.
Right.
You watch those two guys and you're going to see some different lines and some different error, and that's the show.
Yeah.
That's what I go to now. That's what I want to see. I want to see those two guys ride and do their thing. It's fantastic.
But that's good. I'm glad they I don't know who came up with the idea of doing that. I don't know if it was Shannon Gork or I don't know who builds the courses now, but whoever came up with that at USA BMX, right on.
Right. Awesome.
Bravo.
And you know what they should put in there? I'm not joking, maybe partially joking about it, but they should put a flat hairpin turn.
Oh, EC, I thought he was going to say a corkscrew tunnel with a bridge.
No, really, they should put a flat turn, and
with
I know
with
people
pedals.
You choose. You're going to be clipped in, or you're not going to be clipped. That's a choice you make.
Yeah, I know.
But put that in there because that's a real passing opportunity.
Yeah.
Do you put sharks in the water jump or
Come
no
on,
sharks
that's
in the
not
water
the
jump?
same. That's not the same. That's
That's old time. That's old timey right there. That's old timey. Hey,
that's Chris Moeller talk right there.
Hey, speaking of old timey, speaking of going back to the heyday of BMX.
Oh man,
dude, we have a guy. We've got a guy today that has been around from the beginning, and I can't wait to tell you about the first time I saw him. It's he's got his technical helper with him.
Heck yeah.
Technical advisor. Man,
IT person.
Hey, tell her we need her. Tell her she's looking for work. If she's looking for work, we got a spot for her.
You can't afford her.
Yeah, that's true.
I can barely afford her.
Oh, hey, so JV, he knows our budget. Oh man. Well, JV, tell him who it is, JV.
All right. Dennis Dain, known as the Red Baron. Thank you. Welcome, Dennis. Great to have you. I would be honest with you and tell you, I thought you were actually a guest already on the show. When Mike said, "Hey, we got Dennis," I go, "Didn't we do Dennis already?"
I know it was on the list.
Yeah, but glad you could join us. Here's what I found. Here's what I got for you, on you, I guess I should say, for some of the listeners that might know you that well. I will say that there is no Wikipedia. So, a little research had to be done. I had to go through several different pages.
Threw James off his game right there.
makes it a little harder. But I found a little write-up on you. Western Sportsorama local. You were pilot of the world's greatest side hack team. During the 70s, Dain and Ruiz were on the top, practically undefeated between the years 1975 to 1979. You were one of the original bike testers for Bicycle Motocross News, which was the sport's first newspaper. You were one of the first racers to be sponsored by GT, and you even had your own Dain replica frame made. You rode for Redline, Cook's Brothers, and Ralph's Bicycles. Throughout your career, you were a founding member of Pro, what is that? I don't really know what that is. What is that? Pro.
PRO, Professional Racers Association, when we first created a pro class.
All right. Okay. All right.
Solidarity.
Yeah.
Solidarity. I remember that. That's you paying us. Solidarity. Dennis Dain was the Jimmy Hoffa of BMX.
No.
Unionized. Yep, still live in California. That is, I think, the most that I could get. I did try to reach out to Gork to give me a little bit, but he couldn't get back to me quick enough. Dennis, if I missed something big, could you? Of course, you're a Hall of Famer. So do you want to give us anything that I missed over there for the people listening?
I could fill in some of the misguided isn't the right word. The starter racing, Western Sportsorama WSA, first sponsored by the owner of the track, raced for Ralph's Bicycles next, and then co-sponsored by Cook Brothers, and then raced for Redline. The GT thing was Gary Turner. I don't know how deep you want to get me into that.
Yeah,
all the way, dude.
That's why we're here.
Okay.
We got all the time in the world. We're only one beer in, so keep on going.
Exactly.
Gary Turner started out as a racing dragsters and building dragsters and stuff in his garage. Had a son and a brother, and he built frames for them. His original, if you want to say GT frames, were stuff built for his son and his brother. And my sponsor at WSA saw him, selling those bikes out of the back of his car, said, "If you will build those for me, I will sell them at the bike shop there at the track at that time called Pedals Ready GT, Pedals Ready Pro Shop." And then he called the bikes Pedals Ready GTs. Yeah. Then the little one was the Ames frame, and the big one was going to be Ames replica. The little one was going to be the Dain replica. I was never actually sponsored by Gary. He made 5 of those bikes to begin with. Sadly, all of those are lost to time. Mine got stolen from a race. Harry Larry, Dennis Foster, John Severin, and I think his brother had the 5th one. And those look like, I have copies or pictures of it. They look like the original GTs that he took the idea back from my sponsor, who was not a good businessman. He was a good man to me. He took care of me, but he wasn't a good businessman. Blew the deal. Gary Turner took the design back, created GT, and that's where GT went from there.
Wow.
That's
Holy
crazy,
cow.
man.
So that kind of straightens up the early GT racer, which I wasn't, but that puts the GT early picture into perspective.
And all those 5 bikes, man. Wow. The
Yeah.
value on one of those, finding one of those things.
Yeah.
But-
Were there pierced top tubes like
Yes.
the GT? Oh man.
Yes. I
But
have
each bike different, Dennis, or
the original 5 Dain replica frames were the same exact bike.
okay.
And do you guys know who John Severin is? True Torch?
Yeah, of
Johnny
course.
Oh yeah.
He's the one who
Woofo.
actually built those, probably back then as probably a 15 or 16-year-old.
Wow.
And I could get him to make a replica of mine, which I thought about doing. But it's amazing how that bike now. I took a picture of my bike and put like a modern bike next to it, and the top tube and the bottom bracket are like modern bikes. It was really narrow.
Wow.
And it was way ahead of its time. And then the original GTs that were spaced out a little bit more, where the bottom bracket to the top tube was a little bit more. But my seat mast was probably 6, 8, 10 inches above the top tube.
So it's a little
Holy
small.
cow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
And then I raced with an extended seat tube. We all had high seat tubes back then in the 70s.
Well, you know what? If you look at an Ames, Ronnie Ames bike, they're low profile.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're very low profile.
Ronnie still has his original bike.
Ronnie Ames does?
Yeah. I talked to him a couple years ago. You got to see, the dude is like 6'5".
Oh my gosh.
He'd
He's a
snap.
monster.
Holy.
He would snap that top of that tube off right so fast.
Oh yeah.
I remember back then because the seat tube would stick way far above, so you had to run a long seat push. You couldn't cut it; it'd snap the top of the frame off,
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah.
which was common, and that's what kept Johnny True Torch in business, fixing all those frames. God. Wow. So how did you were sponsored by the track operator?
Yes. Because my sister lived a couple miles from there, and that was the first place I raced. And I would stay with my sister and ride down there and then just go work on the track during the week. And I was out there grooming the track and water. And he saw me doing it. And he goes, "Here, I'll give you a jersey and pay for your races if you continue to work on the track." So I was child labor, which was great. I mean, he paid all my races. And I don't know, I kind of apologize for this, but I never paid for a bike part in my BMX career. From day one, he gave me, he set me up. Steve Rink was the one who built the track there, and Steve Rink owned Pedal Power, and Steve gave me, I had carte blanche. I could walk in there and get whatever, which was, moto mags, box bars, you've seen the Pedal Power / Rink Raider bike that's in the Hall of Fame. That's the only one of its kind left.
Wow.
There were only 50 of those made, and I have the only one left, and that's why it's in the Hall of Fame. That thing weighs 33 pounds.
Dude. You know what's funny is brand new, what did that cost? But if you wanted to buy it now, you'd have to mortgage your house.
Yeah.
I know, right?
God.
Yeah, I had a lot of people, a handful of people that wanted it, still do want it, but it's like, no, it belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The Rinks Raider was the predecessor to the Torquer.
Okay, you want the rest of the story with that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that wants it. Heck yeah.
Steve Rink was an engineer, I believe, before he was a bike shop owner, and he designed that bike, the twin top tube bike, and he made, like I said, he made 50 of those, and big people, Kevin McNeil, myself, Leo Green, Alan Underwood, Brian Ramazinski, we all rode those. And he designed them, and Steve Johnson, forward future years Torquer, was the one who was welding them for him, building them for him. So when Steve designed the Power Light frame, that your regular, what do they call it, double diamond, the regular, BMX type frame, he gave Steve Johnson the rights to the twin top tube future torquer frame. Steve Johnson redesigned, first came out with the same design, the tall top
Tall
tube.
boy. Yeah.
High boy or big boy?
High boy, tall,
yeah, whatever.
Huge.
Yeah, same as mine, but with a brake bridge. See, mine doesn't have a brake bridge on it because we didn't have handbrakes.
And is that when the dropout changed too?
The big boys had the forward facing rear dropout. And then I don't know if the big boys ever had the rear facing dropouts.
They did eventually. Then when they became torquer, they became slide-in dropouts.
Yeah, but then when they became torquer, at some point he
lowered it,
squatted down that top tube, and the whole torquer line came from Steve Rink's design.
Yeah, I remember they were first Rinks Raiders, and then they became then in my neighborhood there were 3 of them.
Yeah,
like you said, Kevin McNeil, Leo Green, and Jerry Railsback.
Jerry Railsback, correct.
And all of a sudden the frame was, and they were all like maroon. All 3 of them rode maroon colored bikes. And I was looking at the rear dropout. It was like a Huffy where you put the bike, you put the rear wheel in and slid it backwards to get it in.
Right.
And then all of a sudden there was a new one that was a little bit different, and the wheel went in, like everybody else's from the back. Okay. But I was like, wow, to me that's the holy grail of bikes. Just because, in my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, even not Lee Medlin, Kenny Mingus, even, I think, and I think when Kenny won the California Cup, he was 11, 12, 13, somewhere in that range, and he rode one of those.
That gigantic frame?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I mean, from the bottom bracket to where you put the seat post clamp on was like 4 feet. It's gigantic. I just remember being huge.
And the geometry.
You were 11. You couldn't stand over the frame.
It was like a moose goose.
Geometry is terrible on those bikes. From a modern day, you get on that bike and it just feels wrong.
Well, it's a twin top tube, so if you're short, your testicles would drop in between the 2 tubes, like an old man in a lawn chair would just stick in there, man.
Only
terrible.
Once.
Only once. Hold it, Mr. Starter. Hold it, wait. It's terrible. God.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I got to tell you, I want to tell you, it's important to me to tell you the first time I saw Dennis Dain. But before I do, I got to tell you one more thing. The first time I saw Dennis Dain, he wasn't by himself. Hey, champ.
Dennis, can you see him?
Put your glasses on, Dennis.
Well, I didn't recognize you with your glasses. There you go. Okay.
Oh.
The first time I ever saw,
I wouldn't be able to see you.
The first time I ever saw Dennis Dain, and it's one of those things that burns. I mean, just burns in my mind. I can see it today like I saw it back then. The first time I ever saw Dennis Dain, Corona Raceway, my friend and I, Lenny Carter, we had snuck up to the gate, and the gate outside the dairy where you would turn in off of Pierce to get into the track. We had snuck in there, and we had stood by the gate and said, "Hey, parking's $5. Parking $5." And we're getting $5 from everybody. And then Dennis Dain comes ripping up in this seafoam mint green 1957 Chevy Nomad station wagon, the most badass car I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's him and Stuart Thompson. And I said, no, you guys can go. And we let him go. And then we just left. There was no gate fee that day. We were just taking $5 a car and making money on the side. And then we went up there, and we see this Nomad just jamming, throwing dirt all the way up the side of the starting hill at Corona Raceway, which was a gigantic hill to go up. And halfway up the hill was this big flat spot where they used as a Grand Prix jump for the motorcycle jumps to come down. It was the only flat spot on the hill. And Dennis Dain and Stuart Thompson pulled that thing up there, and that's where they parked.
That's right.
The coolest cats in the entire planet, man. I was like, oh. I'm glad we didn't charge them $5. I'm glad we didn't rip them off for $5.
Thank you.
Gotta go in. You gotta go in, take charge, and that way people think you're somebody.
Oh,
Wow.
I like it.
And to have these two legends back together again on the podcast is awesome. Well, boys, tell us about how you two met
Good Lord.
back in the Stone
Western-
Age of BMX.
Western Sportsorama, I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we were just probably racing each other and then just became friends. You know, and then we just rode, and, you know, I think I was out of school and I would invite Dennis to go riding with me, but
Great, thanks.
wait a minute. You know, it's all right.
Yeah, the statute of limitations is out on how much time I spent at high school because you kept calling me and let's go riding. Stu, I'm still in school. Oh, come on, you can go riding. So I ditched school that second half of the day to go riding with Stu.
I love it.
45 truancies later,
Hey, everybody.
my mom in heaven now she knows now, but she didn't know that I had 45 truancies in my second half of the classes of the day because I ditched school and go riding with Stu.
Yeah. Well, I mean, school can't teach you life skills.
Hey,
Like
man,
how to do burnouts in a Nomad in the dirt.
Yeah.
That's right.
No.
Everybody needs an older
Nomad's
brother.
got nothing. The Nomad's got nothing on Stu's Pinto.
Yeah. Pintos can fly.
Pintos can fly.
I'm sure you guys proved that point.
Yeah, there was a couple airborne situations.
Now, Dennis, you're from Downey, right? Where are you from originally?
North Long Beach?
Oh, Compton.
No, not Compton. Up against Compton, Linwood, Paramount, up in the corner of North Long Beach is all those, and Lakewood. Ralph's Bike Shop was in Downey, so I got associated with Downey from Ralph's Bike Shop. And but no, I went to Jordan High School, which is a North Long Beach high school. And back then it was fine, you know, up against those areas, it was just part of the deal.
Yeah, I saw it. I think they featured that on Training Day with Denzel Washington.
Jordan High School is different these days.
Well, it's not like every place you go to now, you go a couple miles in the wrong direction and you're in a different part of town. So, you know,
It's true. I grew up in Lakewood, Dennis.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I was on the, I guess it'd be the east side of the 605.
Okay.
Tiny little pocket. I went to Artesia High School.
Okay.
And
yeah.
So it was and my neighborhood butted up against Hawaiian Gardens. So
Hawaiian Gardens. I was going to say, that's what I was going to, yeah.
Same deal. It's like you go 5 blocks.
Hawaiian Gardens. I remember when I was working for the sheriff's department, and we had a little section of Rossmore is what we patrolled, and I followed a couple cars one day up the street, and before you know it, I was in Hawaiian Gardens. Woo. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not really familiar with this area, so I'm like, yeah, maybe some other day. I just turned around.
Yeah. Hey, there were no luau's in Hawaiian Gardens.
Yeah.
There wasn't very, yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Wait, ma'am.
Oof, man.
Yeah,
that is rough. That's rough country right there. So I imagine it's safe to drive around in that area, Dennis. It's okay to ride in that area when you're riding with someone as gigantic as Stuart.
Oh,
it's got to feel safe.
Well, Stu grew up in Whittier, so you know we rode all over Whittier. That was the place to ride.
Yeah, I was south of the tracks.
Oh, he was on the good side.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the good side.
No, that's not the good side.
Well, you know what? It was for me, for a young buck, just a novice out there riding at Corona Raceway. It was awesome to see you guys come out. It was great because you guys would come out, even though it wasn't 1974. You guys would still ride you would come out and have a great time riding shock bikes. I remember you guys would come out on monoshocks and just jump everything and have a blast. And especially you two, you made BMX look like it was fun. No matter how old you get, you guys look like you were having a great time.
It was fun.
Well, you see some of those old pictures get posted up, right? Where you can see where they're riding the monoshock bikes and they're jumping them, and man, you guys are pretty high off the ground on those bikes. Seriously, like
Yeah.
Dennis rode my monoshock more than I rode it.
I would watch Dennis at after the European turn, which was the first, second, third turn. You drop down, and there was that big single jump, peak jump in the straightaway they built for the Big Mama. And I remember Dennis on the monoshock. I mean, everyone else was no one knew how to speed jump. Everyone just jumped and pushed down, and Dennis would pull up and just sky. I was like, wow, that's fantastic.
The one picture I have of that jump, the kids that are sitting next to it are looking up. Their heads are turned up. And you can't tell from the picture how high I'm. We're probably 6 or 8 feet in the air. You can exaggerate and say 10, but we're high. And at that time, and on a 40-pound monoshock,
man,
yeah, that's high, man.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's high off the ground.
The other thing I learned from you two coming to the track together, and that you raced against each other, was that you read the magazines and you think everybody's a rival, everyone's against everybody. When the gate drops, everyone's against everybody. But you two rode for different teams, and it seemed like you were just the best of friends and having a great time and laughing the entire time you were there. And it really sent a great message to young bucks like me that were like, oh, well, that's cool. You can be a top pro and race against guys at the same time and have a good time. And it was like I said, it was a super positive message.
Yeah, I mean that's how you bond and you make friends, and and then you can get away with some really sketchy moves because they're friends and they won't come back to stab you the next corner.
Well, a great story. Great story about Stu is, if I ever write my book about Corona, this story will be my highlight for my Corona time period. Is the Big Mama. I'm sure Mike remembers the race, the Big Mama. I don't know if you call it a national, but it had a lot of prestige. And
Dennis, hold on a second. I got to clarify. So the Big Mama was a big race. It seemed like a national because it was a big deal in Southern California. And the reason they called it the Big Mama is because it was held on Mother's Day.
Right.
So we called it the Big Mama. And every year for the Big Mama, they would build some new jump or some new thing for the Big Mama.
Right.
And that big, gigantic peak jump in the middle of a downhill straightaway was built for the Big Mama.
Right.
Now, at the end of your story, I want to tell something, a sidebar on that. So please, Dennis, tell us about the Big Mama.
Well, it was this year at 78. They ran it 2 days. They had a separate race on Saturday, separate race on Sunday. I think I won the pro or the expert class or the pro class on Saturday, and then Stu won both classes on Sunday. So when they had the trophy dash on Sunday, Stu told Ernie, why don't you let Dennis race in the trophy dash because he won yesterday? And Ernie said, okay. So we get on the gate, and there's Stu and I are on opposite ends. One's on 1, one's on 8. And so we figured, okay, it's one of the other. And in the middle, in between us is Lee Medlin, Jeff Rumner, Anthony Sewell, and I think that's it in between us. Well, the gate drops, and Jeff Rumner gets a hole shot, and it's like, here's this 15-year-old squirrel that's just panic in front of us going all over the track, and Stu and I go in side by side in the first turn, and he yells go. I'm on the inside. He yells at me to go, and I slide up in front of him, and then Mike, at that time it went around the 2 hairpins, came down, and then before you got to that straightaway where that big jump was, there was a left-hand turn. It raised up.
It was a European. It jumped up into it.
Raised up, leveled off, went in the turn. Well, I go in and I'm trying to set up where I'm going to pass Rumner. We go into that turn, and when you came up that European part, just before it hit the berm, there was a hole there. Rumner buried his front wheel in that hole, went over the bars, and I was so close to him, I drilled him in the butt. I went over the bars, but something I learned from Stu was never let go of your bike. So I held onto my bike. I ran with the bike, and as soon as I stepped on my bike, Stu ran into the back of me and pushed me forward. And all the time, this is a trophy dash. This is my first ever time in a trophy dash, and I'm probably freaking out as much as Rumner is. And I'm thinking, great, Stu's going to pass me at any given moment. And I kept going around the rest of the track and he never passed me. And I kept thinking any moment he's going to buy. And he said he waited in case I made a mistake. And I never did. And I won a trophy dash. And my first one, he won a gazillion of them. He won them all kinds. So it was no skin off him. So but it was a big deal for me. It was a great event. And like you said, it was mutual respect. He didn't do anything. He would never take me out for a win, and I would never take him out for a win. And I didn't do it anyway. I followed people. Other stories. I'll let you go on to the other ones, and I'll tell other stories about Stu and I racing. Go ahead.
Hey, it's a good thing that
you probably, by following me, you won a lot of races.
Oh, that's where I was going to go. I won.
Yeah.
I would follow Stu. I would sit in third. Stu would be leading. I'd sit in third, and the guy in second would take out Stu, and I'd win. I can explain at least 3 races where that happened.
Yeah.
And Cosmola, Harry Larry.
Hey, God bless Kevin McNeil. Because if Kevin McNeil was behind you at Corona, you were done.
Right.
There isn't any turn. He'd take you out in the straightaway. It didn't matter. It was fantastic. God.
Kevin had no shame.
Oh man! So I want my one story I want to tell on the tail end of the Big Mama story is, it was the Big Mama on Mother's Day on a super crazy downhill track, super downhill with a jump 3/4 of the way down the hill. Then we put in this big peak jump. Anyways, it was a insane fast track, and on Mother's Day, they would talk the moms into racing.
Oh, it's crazy.
And that wasn't like the older powder puffs or the 55 to 60-year-old expert women. It was just your mom. Just get your mom out there on your bike. Didn't matter what if your son was 11 years old and his bike was set up for 11-year-old, didn't matter. Put mom on the bike and let her go down this giant downhill. Unbelievable. It was so scary.
I got a picture of my mom on my bike racing at Western Sportsorama. I think it was Western
or Norwalk, one or the other.
Yeah, one or the other.
Norwalk, the Little Lake track.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
You
that had a big jump too.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what they did. And on Father's Day, they let the dads race.
Right.
And the difference was the dads were liquored up.
Yep.
Oh my God. The dads would get liquored up. I don't know that the moms did, but I know the dads did.
Oh my gosh, dude, right?
Fantastic. Oh, BMX was so fun back then.
Those Mother's Day races were nuts, man. When I first I started in 78 in BMXL. So I was in the racing and BMX league, and my mom did a Mother's Day race at La Mirada.
Uh-huh.
Dude, that start hill was fast.
Another downhill starting hill.
Yeah.
She got on a bike? She got on a
bike? She wrecked coming out of the first turn, man. She locked bars with somebody. Hauling ass. Dude, she was hobbling around the house for like 4 or 5 days, man. Just damn bike.
It wasn't a steep hill, but unknowingly you picked up speed quickly down that hill. There was no you didn't realize how much speed you were carrying. Stu went off that first berm.
Yeah, I sure did.
Right.
I saw a picture of that.
Yep,
that's right.
That wasn't my helmet either. And that's kind of why I went off the berm.
Oh, that's right.
Because they're like, hey, dude, your race is up on the gate, and I'm like, I'm playing frisbee or something on the grass, and I'm like, oh shit. So I go over to the starting gate, and I couldn't find my helmet, so I just borrowed somebody's helmet, which was way too big. And so when I'm going down the first straight, it's falling in front of my face, and the visor is literally blocking my view.
Oh my God.
The next thing you know, I'm just flying off the first berm.
And I think in the picture, you're going off the turn and your hands are off the bars.
Oh yeah.
Literally, you're like this, your hands off the bars, and you're going off the first turn into nowhere.
I think my feet are off the pedals too.
They are. That was a classic picture. I remember that thing, man.
Yeah, we'll be posting that one up here. Listen, La Mirada was one of my favorite tracks because my favorite thing about that track, it was in the middle of a park. So everybody went to La Mirada, JV.
Yeah.
Went as a family, and it was like picnic. Everyone took a picnic.
Oh.
And so when you go there as yourself and you mooch a ride, the next thing you do is you mooch a lunch.
Yeah.
Dude, I ate from the first turn all the way to the finish line. I was eating from everyone's stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I loved La Mirada.
You're not kidding though, Hollywood. It was like the atmosphere there at that track was completely different because of JV literally was a city park, and it was in like a big bowl with grass. It looked like if you put a fairway on there, it could be like a golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful trees. It was nice.
Yeah. So the setup was good for people they already, hey, this is going to be great over there.
Yeah.
Let's just bring food and hang out. I mean, that's nice.
A blanket. You put a blanket out,
Yeah.
there'd be two Mexicans making out. It was fantastic. If you have the whole track smelled like fried chicken. It was great. Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah, that was a good time.
What was Dennis, what would you call your home track?
Western Sports Rama. Yeah. Because that's where I spent all my time. And like I said, my sister lived close there, and I could stay. Well, back, I'm started out 15. I turned 16, got that car, and I would leave as a 16-year-old, I would leave my house Friday night to go to a race. And we didn't have cell phones back then. I would sleep on somebody's sofa Friday night, race Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, sleep on somebody else's sofa Saturday night, race Sunday, show up home Sunday night. And I asked my mom later in life, were you ever worried about me? She goes, I always worried, but I was never concerned about you because I didn't do bad stuff. She goes, I knew you were doing stuff okay, but gone all weekend as a 16-year-old.
So good.
Wait, I just have to point this out because it struck me like a bolt of lightning. I'm sorry, your first car was a 57 Chevy Nomad.
Yeah, but it's a 20-year-old, just a car. My dad.
But a monster motor, big hot rod car. Okay, so now, if I have this right, Stu Thompson, your first car was a Pinto?
No, that was mom's car.
I just want to set the record straight because I'm going to put a picture of a Pinto and a 57 Chevy. I'm going to put them up together, and this is how things go, kids. Hey, kids, pay attention. Who's ditching school?
Then mom goes, "Hey, how come my trunk's welded on?"
Thank you, John Severin.
No, we're leaving Yarnell. Did you ever race Yarnell, Mike?
I didn't race. I went there once to watch the races with Kevin McNeil once.
Okay. Well, we're coming out of Yarnell. There's there's one way that you drive in and you go down to this little flats and park. Then there's a back way, and it's off-road back way. Well, we're coming out of the back way, and Stu's picking up speed, and we aired it out. He aired out the Pinto, and he had one of those hoop bike racks mounted to the rear bumper with both our bikes on the bike rack. And when we landed, we're freaking out thinking we just tore off the whole undercarriage of this Pinto. We're looking around the underside, it's fine. We go to the back, and the strap from the hoop rack went to the top of the trunk lid, and it ripped the trunk lid off the hinges. So he ripped the trunk lid off. So when he went home, he went and welded it. And there were 4 burn marks on the outside because he welded on the inside, but it burned the paint on the outside.
Oh my God.
Hey, we're just going to take a couple of minutes and let you hear some new messages from some of our friends. We'll be right back to the show in just a sec.
Hey everybody, Sean here from Rad BMX Builds. If you don't know who I am, I'm retired military owning a small veteran-owned BMX company. I specialize in social media content and build old school and retro BMX bikes from predominantly the 80s. Sometimes I dabble into the 70s and into the 90s, but 80s are my area. I'm a Gen X kid and I love this type of stuff. So if you like old school BMX builds and content, events and shows, make sure you give me a follow on Instagram at rad_BMX_builds. I also have a YouTube channel. Go check us out on YouTube at Rad BMX Builds. I wish all of you a very Merry BMXmas, and as always, stay rad.
Hey guys, Matt here from the Nostalgic Neighborhood. We're building a community of friends reconnecting with the best parts of our youth, 80s pop culture, skateboarding, and of course BMX. We've got video coverage of events like the Buckeye Bike Show, Flatland Jams, the BMX Hall of Fame ceremony, and then the Rad event down in Texas with Kevin Hull, Eddie Fiola, and Hollywood himself.
Oh, my third dramatic exit.
I've shared bike builds, we've relived childhood memories, and I've even started flatland riding at 49. In 2025, we're ramping things up, more BMX, more nostalgia. Join us for the fun over on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, riders. My name's Kevin Wilson from the BMXers podcast, and I want to make a personal invitation to all you dirty bastards out there to come and watch. If you're into old school BMX stories, old school trivia, or building old school bikes, I'd like to invite you to come by the BMXers podcast on the BMXers YouTube channel and check us out. Leave me a message, subscribe, leave me a dirty message. It doesn't matter. Want to hear from you. Thanks very much. And keep watching the Dirty House podcast because that's where it's at. Peace out. Thanks for everything.
Hi, guys. This is Danny Pena from Danny Pena BMX Racing on YouTube. I like to review BMX races. I love going over BMX magazines such as this, BMX Action being my favorite. Huge fan of the Dirty Knobs podcast. I love the fact that they're giving me some support on this. I love talking about BMX. Please go to my channel, like, subscribe, comment. I come up with videos just about every week. Love talking BMX. I do a lot of the old stuff, new stuff, mid-school, whatever you want. Come to my channel. Thanks a lot.
Hey, let me ask you something. It's a little bit off of what you what you guys were talking about, off topic. In the 70s, these tracks you guys raced at, how much did it cost to race?
Probably.
Dennis doesn't know. He never paid for anything.
Well, I mean, if you were to pay,
but it was probably $6 or $7.
$6 or $7,
maybe.
Yeah, that's
No.
kind of amazing.
No,
Less than that.
It was $450 at Corona. It was $450.
Yeah.
And it was $7. It was $7 if you were. No, it was $450 if you were not a member. It was $7 if you were a member.
What?
Is that right? Or the other way around? It was the other way
That's
around.
backwards.
Yeah, it was the other way around. It was $450 if you were not a member, $7 if you were a member. That's what it was.
You flip-flopped it again. You went $450 if you're a member, $750 if you're not a member.
I think it was the other way around.
How could it be? It's less expensive if you're not.
It was less expensive if you were not. Yes, because it was. Yes, here's the thing. It was less expensive if you were not a member, but you had to race expert. That's what it was.
Oh.
It was $450 if you were not an expert, but it was $7 if you were if you were a member, and you could race novice and use a green plate. These guys wouldn't know that.
No,
I would
So
know
that's
that.
yeah.
I was gonna
trying
say.
to tell you, they were trying to make people buy memberships by making them race expert.
I think it's genius. I actually think it's pretty smart,
Dude.
And
I
$5
raced.
to get in.
And the phone. That was the. I raced expert for almost a year
Of course you did.
off the because I was too cheap.
Because you were not paying $7.
Listen, if I'm being honest, what's last place expert or last place novice? It's still last place. It wasn't making any difference. It was making no difference in my results.
You were just that was taco money.
Yeah, I was not Dennis Dain or Stuart Thompson. I was the guy that was taking $5 at the gate and taking the back road into the track.
Well,
God.
it's funny, Stu and I, when we started racing, it was, I think, I don't know if it was ever 14 and up, and then it was 15 and over, and then 16 and over. We never changed classes. We were always in the oldest age class.
Right.
And, talking to other people, the young people like you, or, Ronnie Ames, or even my brother-in-law, John Anderson, that they changed age somewhere during the year. So they were racing different people as the year went on, as the different kids aged up into the different classes. So it's a whole different mindset to the younger group. I never really never paid any attention to that. It didn't affect us.
And I was in the next group that went from when I was 16 and over expert, and then I raced 17 and over expert, and I aged up with the class.
Right.
And then it went. Now it's what is it now, Stuart? What do you race? 61 and a half to 64 and a half expert. What do you race now?
Oh, 66 and up age group. I don't think we're.
There's no, there's no
No.
novice or anything. It's just
No.
age.
But,
Got
well,
it.
it's cruiser.
It's cruiser, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dude, and that class right there has all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
And Stuart is one shape, and everybody else is in a different one.
That's right.
Yeah, I may be in shape, but that 2 weeks ago I didn't ride so well.
Well, no, that's not true. That is not true. You rode very well. You made one small technical error, but the way the tracks are now, man, and like JV said, JV, we were talking about it before the show, was that how the dirt on the track is so much different now. There is no give when you fall.
That is hard. I mean, it looks hard.
Believe me, my back says it's hard.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's hard.
I mean,
It's
you used
definitely hard.
Yeah. Back in the day, you could drop your beer bottle on the track and it was fine. Now it'll break.
You wouldn't
Now
even
your beer
balance
bottle will break.
It would just stand. It would just sit.
It would sit in there, yeah. It's like,
Back then it was aluminum cans with pop top.
yes.
I didn't
And they
do
were
that.
found in the back pocket of every starter at every race.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
you heard the story when we were at Corona once, and I was walking up the backside of the first turn, and that's when John Botima, I guess it'd be senior, and John Hill, they would always sit right there, and I'd walk up, and they'd be drinking Budweiser, watching the races. And I think Mr. Botima hands me hey, you want a drink? And I'm getting up there to race the main event or something like that. I'm like, yeah, sure, it's fine. I just go up there.
I just remember that Mr. Tom Cosen, the starter, he would always have a Budweiser in his back pocket and holding the gate with the beer in the back pocket right there. It was like no big deal, just how they did it.
Cigarette in the hand too.
Yeah, and there were guys. I remember Frank Post smoking and staging before the 16 over expert main. He's just out there hitting a heater between, right before the main event.
Mr. Cosen, he would stand out in front of the gate too, right?
He always stood in front of the gate
He didn't stand back and hold it. He'd stand in front of it and then jump out of the way and throw it to the ground.
and scream at you.
Exactly. If you were in lane one, you were deaf.
Or scared. I was scared. Wow.
I raced for Ralph's, and Cook was my coach. I love Gary Cook to death. Gary was like a father figure to me. He was a great guy. Craig, on the other hand, Craig was a businessman. He didn't even like me, but he didn't want Gary spending money on people. He just wanted to build bikes. But Gary was a great guy. And then my Redline days, which were, I won't say anything bad about Redline. It wasn't the bike. It was me. I came from a Cook Brothers 4-inch head tube, slant stem, handlebars low, to a Redline with a 5-inch head tube, and then the tall gooseneck on top, tall stem. I felt like I was riding a chopper. I wasn't comfortable on the bike. It didn't suit me well. And I went from a team of family. Ralph was like family to me. Gary was like a dad. It was all about having fun. I get on Redline. I'm with Dave Clinton, Greg Hill, Jeff Rumner, four pros. And it's like, why would you have 4 pros on the same team? And then Lynn sends out progress reports. All of a sudden I'm getting this mailer in the mail. It shows how my progress, and I felt like I was being judged.
You get your report card.
And I called him up and I said, pound sand up your ass. It's like, why are you judging me? And Lynn was a businessman. He didn't even like my hair. He wanted me to, he goes, can you wear your hair back in a pony? Here I am, the Red Baron with red hair on Redline. He doesn't even want to promote it. Looking back, it's like, wow. But, he ran things the way he wanted to. And, I made the cover of BMX Action on a Redline at the LA Coliseum, one of the highlights of my life.
Yeah.
And other than when Cornell crashed me, but no big deal. But, from a highlight to halfway through the year, I quit. I don't know if you want to hear that story.
Of course we do. Yeah, everyone wants to hear it.
Well, this is basically the end of my career, but it was a family matter. I'm 19 years old. We're still playing on bikes. Like we mentioned earlier, the pro class came in. There's money being made. I won some pro classes, won some, a couple $100 here and there. And this is 79. And within a year, salaries are coming. This is turning into a business. It's turning, you guys know what happened in the 80s.
Yeah.
79, for me, it was still fun. I like to have fun. I enjoyed the competition, but I didn't feel in my mind like I didn't have to win to prove my worth. Stu was competitive. He was out there to win, and I learned a lot from him. I learned how to win by listening to him. But on Redline, my father at that time, I'm the youngest of 6 kids. My dad was 50 years old when I was born. So he's 69 years old and, functioning alcoholic his whole life. Didn't take care of himself, but who did back then, that generation. He was a good father. I have a whole lot more respect for him now. I respected him then, but I totally respect him now as an adult. But anyway, he had some health challenges. He was in the hospital before a race in Watsonville. I don't know if it was Fall Nationals, Summer National, whatever it was. Skyway National in Watsonville. I went to see my dad in the hospital. I said, there's a race going on. I don't need to go. It's not a big deal. He goes, no, go ahead and go. I'll see you when I get back. I went to the race with Redline in the motorhome. We're traveling back down. We stop at a rest stop. I call home. My mom tells me that my dad died. I was upset. Lynn consoled me. I got home, talked things over with my mom and said, I called Lynn and I said, I quit. I'm done. And he goes, no, I'll take some time off. He goes, I know what it's like. Take time. I go, no, I'm done. Because the fun was going out. It was turning into a business. It was turning into a job. And I didn't have the competitiveness that people like Stu had. And look who came up, in the early 80s and throughout the 80s. Look at, Greg Hill stepped up. Anthony Sewell stepped up. The Pattersons, McNeil came up to another, everybody went to another level. And I walked away and I said, I'm done. And I'm glad I did. 2 years later, I started UPS. 40 years later, I retired. I got a pension. And I'm happy that I quit while I was still on top and walked away. But that was the turning point for me was, that's what ended. I chose to end my career then. And
that's awesome, man.
Well, I got to say, from my perspective, looking back, again, it always looked like you were having fun. On the occasional Sunday, I'd see you at Monrovia. You always looked like you were having fun. You were the way I remember it is when everyone was practicing, you were jumping. You were jumping the jumps and you were having a great time. And I was like, wow, that's fun.
No, those are the formative years, So we were all having fun, and like Dennis said, at some point in time, it turned, and it became a business.
Yeah, that's right.
It wasn't suited for everybody, and there's times that I think back, like, what have I done, had I quit, when I was 22 or 23, and then continued my college education, and where would I be now? I who knows? I don't know. But I'm glad I chose the path I did. But Dennis and I had those early years of just bonding and having fun on a bike, and he left on his high note and never looked back, and that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, this is an interesting point, right? Because we all in the 80s it peaked, and you're right, it got competitive. There were salaries. There's a lot of money being made on both ends, bicycles, manufacturers as well as racers. In the 70s, when you're switching from, was it Dennis? Sorry, forgive me if I get this wrong. Was it Cook's Brothers to Redline, or was it
yes.
Okay, so you're racing for Cook's Brothers. There's no salaries at this point, right? The 70s are still just about getting free stuff, I assume, and getting to races. What's the factor to say, I'm going to leave Cook's Brothers to go to Redline? Like, what would be the the reason for that?
It's funny. I wish I had that actual reason in my head why. I don't know why. I think it was just the prestige of what was at Redline, the motorhome, the travel. He was my first time on an airplane. Was Lynn paid for us to go to that the first Jag World Championships in Indianapolis. That's my first time on an airplane. So maybe it was the lure of bigger things, the factory thing. And honestly, looking back, it was a mistake for me. I was more happy with
At Cook's, bro. That's
with Ralph's and Cook.
Yeah.
Was there a salary then at Redline?
Not when I was there. No, it came not long. I mean, I don't know about Clinton, and I mean, think about it, Clinton, Hill, and Rumner. Look at those three people.
Yeah.
Money had to come in because Clinton got married. I think Clinton married Rita in '79. So he had to have an income. I don't know. I've never talked to David about that, but I don't know.
Interesting timing of the entire thing of how there was a pro, but there wasn't a lot of money, and salaries weren't big back then. They didn't start that way, but some guys, I imagine. Stuart, when was the first time you got a salary? I'm not asking how much, but when?
If you want to tell us, you can.
No, I'm trying to think if someone actually paid me. I don't know.
There's a statute of limitations. We're not calling the IRS on you. It's all right, man.
I'm not sure if I actually got a salary from SE Racing or if it was all the co-sponsors that pitched in to run the team, basically, to bankroll it. So, there would have been some money from JT, Haro,
Oakley.
Yeah, Oakley, but pennies, not a lot. And the monthly salaries started when I was on Redline, when it was a legitimate check coming in the mail every month. And then, obviously prestige comes along, you get the plates and magazine covers and stuff. And so that's an enhancement to your salary through contingencies. And then winning races when the salaries were pretty good. And then, obviously back then, gas is $1.50 a gallon, everything is cheaper. So, you make $5,000 a month. That's like $1 million nowadays.
Depending on your progress report. I mean, some of us were getting D's back then.
Stu had a better progress report than I did.
Yeah. Me too, by the way. Yeah, me too. I mean, I wasn't paying that $7 to race novice.
Yeah.
Somewhere early on, that's Stu. 79, where you won 2 pro classes they were $5,000 pro purses.
Well, I did the World Championships in Indy.
Right.
I think that was a $5,000 first place take home pay.
Right.
And then the following week was the multi-sanction race at Knott's Berry Farm.
That's it.
And that was a $5,000 first place payout. So
yeah.
10 grand in 8-9 days. So
in 79, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was 79 because I was on Redline at Knott's Berry Farm, and that was in 80.
80, okay.
Yeah,
yes.
80.
Yes.
So.
Okay, I'm going to switch gears. I mean, really switch gears. Dennis, you were famous, but to me, even more famous with 3 wheels. You were like the king of sidehacks. And it's funny to see, I don't know if you know this, there's a huge resurgence in sidehacks right now.
It's like a cult.
Yeah, even at the Southern California National, they had sidehack racing. 2 years ago at Dirty Fest, we had 1 sidehack sign up. Last year, we had 14.
Right.
This year, we're expecting double that. And to sit here today, there's no way we can have Dennis Dain on this podcast without going side hack crazy. I mean, the king of side hacks. What do you think was the secret to your domination of side
Oh,
hacks?
I absolutely know the secret of my domination side hack was my partner, Steve Reese. Ruiz. He we race, it would look like fun. And then somewhere out, not long after we started racing, Steve goes, he's on the gate and he goes, I'm going to try something. What do you mean you're going to try something? And we're on the gate, and side hacks, you just wheel in the gate. I'm standing, 2-pedal start because it balances. And out of the corner of my eye, he disappears. I don't see his hands on the bar anymore. He stepped back and he timed the gate. So when the starter dropped the gate, he was running into the hack and pushed us out. So we had a whole bike length lead on the pack instantly and never looked back. He did that the whole career. And he was the one, and I knew how to race. I knew how to ride the gate, but he knew how to get me out of the gate. And
EC, we are going to edit this part out. There's a bunch of damn cheaters out there about to
Wait, wait, hold on. Are you saying that nobody tried to copy that?
No.
Wow.
And I don't know if they
What
didn't.
the-
I don't know if they didn't see him doing it, but nobody else did that.
That's
Oh, this is going to be a pay-per-view now. This is
What?
going to be pay-per-view.
One of the
Wow.
okay, you were talking about one of the starters at Corona. I don't remember which gentleman it was. He saw us doing that, and then he had a cadence. Tracks clear, riders ready, pedals ready, go. And it was tracks clear, riders ready, pedals. It was the cadence of all cadence. Steve had it dialed. Well, he held the gate. Tracks clear, riders ready, pedals ready, and he held the gate. Steve hit the gate, twisted the whole hack up in a knot, and then we went out. And next time we got on the gate with that guy, I looked over at him, and Steve and I had this agreement. When the guy started his cadence, Steve pulled the side hack back about 3 feet and started going. The guy says, "Tracks clear, riders ready." He looked at us and dropped the gate because we were going to rip that gate out of his arms.
I love
That
it.
hack weighs 73 pounds. I weighed 150 pounds. Steve weighed 150 pounds. There's 375 pounds going to hit that gate at full speed. He dropped the gate. I said, we weren't cheating. My wheels was against the gate. He was just timing it. We're not cheating. And he never did it again.
And he only weighed probably 300 pounds. The starter.
Probably. But I'd have broke his arm.
That's amazing.
He definitely would have spilled his beer. Dude, that is awesome.
So the wheel was against the gate. He would just jump back and then
Yes.
jump on the bike as it
Yes.
went down.
Correct.
I was gonna say I thought maybe you invented the slingshot.
Nope. Well, it was a time thing, but no, Steve,
Okay,
that was
got
all
it.
him.
There is a famous picture of you on a side hack, and the picture is taken from your side, and you are tucked down below the frame, wearing this red, white, and blue short sleeve shirt. You look like a Dan Gurney frame pad, and you're tucked down like this, and you're just as low as the monkey is on the other side. And it's one of the most famous pictures of you. It's iconic to me. And I was like, man, that has to be a secret of how to go fast on a hack.
Look closer at that picture. Steve is on the same bike that I'm on. He put that's Corona's first turn, the left turn coming over the crest of the hill. Wendy took that picture. Steve, we had a peg or a loop on the axle on the left side of the bike. Steve's left leg was on the same side of the bike as I was. He's straddling the bike.
Man.
That's how much he leaned over in that first turn. We're going full speed. We're going 35 miles an hour, cresting that hill, coming over into that turn. And Steve got on my side of the bike.
On a 700-pound bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mike, you'll appreciate this story. That's the first Big Mama from the year before. That's 77. And no, wait, that's California Cup.
That's California Cup. Yeah.
I was racing in shorts. I have pictures of me racing in shorts. And this guy, this man walks up to me and says, "Son, you need to put some pants on, because if I take a picture of you, I can't put you in a publication with shorts on." It was Bob Osborne. told me to put pants on. I put my jeans on, and Wendy took that picture later in the day.
Wow.
That's awesome.
The second issue of BMX Action has an interview, a 5-page interview of Steve and I on our side hack. Wow. And that's where that picture, it's a full page picture. That one's featured in there.
If I had a nickel for every time someone told me, young man, you need to put your pants on, I'd be the AA pro of side hacks.
You'd still be making money.
I'd still be making money.
Oh,
man. I mean, like I said, just as famous on 3 wheels as 2 wheels. And with the huge resurgence of side hacks, what would it take to get Dennis Dain to race side hacks at Dirty Fest?
Problem is, the partner that I race with lives 1,000 miles north.
Was he Alaska?
Washington. Rick Gayton lives outside.
Oh.
You know Rick?
Of course.
Yeah, he's my partner. We've raced 2 years at Frogtown. And we do well together. Rick's a great, he raced side hacks back in the day, back in the 70s. And when we met, I said, did we ever race each other? He goes, yeah, but I was always behind you. Sorry.
Yeah, you go good, and when he finally learns what left is.
You had to bring that up. Thank you, Phil. The first year we raced at Frogtown, which would be 3 years ago, because we didn't race this last year because I had issues here at home. Rick didn't get there on the day before to do any practice laps, and I had walked the track and studied the track. And Rick and I were walking the track the morning of the race. And as we're getting near the last turn, these other side hack, the Crowfoot brothers crashed their side hack in front of us. I can't remember the pilot knucklehead tried to jump those set of doubles there, those rollers, and he looped it and he fractured a vertebrae in his lower back.
Whoa.
Well, Rick is a trained law enforcement officer and knows medical things. So he sat down with him and he's telling him, working with the medics there. Well, we didn't walk the rest of the track. In the last turn, Mike, you remember this, the last turn was it was a right-hand turn, but then Todd Huffman had switched it up this year and made a left turn over where the right-hand turn came around. You get, just as you were exiting the turn, it turned left and went up over the
big peak.
Yeah,
it was a peak.
Yeah.
It was a peak left.
Rick didn't know that we had to turn left. So in our first moto, we made this beautiful outside inside move, and we're going, and I'm yelling at him to turn left, and he goes, what? And we ended up rolling straight ahead into a hay bale and falling over. But we're at Arnie Johnson laugh-in speed where we just literally fell over. And of course, Stu was right there in front of me watching it, laughing at us.
Oh my gosh.
Eric Carter also fell over on that left-hand peak turn.
I did in the trophy dash.
Oh,
absolutely. His muscles all tightened up, and he couldn't control himself, and he fell right there.
Because my legs, literally, my legs, both legs went straight out, locked out, cramps, and I couldn't control the bike, and I hit that roller with both legs, stiff leg.
Oh,
it shot me over the bars.
He had menstrual cramps.
I did have menstrual cramps.
The thing about riding a side hack, especially now as an old person.
Hold on, come on. Menstrual, that's pretty good. Come on, give me credit on menstrual.
Okay, you got it. But racing a side hack now is like an adult tricycle. We don't go fast. It's not fast enough to get hurt. And when we do fall over, we just fall over. I would love to race Dirty Fest, but I kind of don't want to do it without my only, the partner that I race with. It's a trusting thing. You got to have somebody there you trust.
This year's side hack race was into the first turn in the finals. I was up there with Hollywood when the side hacks went.
The main event in side hack this year, Dirty Fest, was insane.
Slamming into the first turn.
They went locked 3 wide into the first turn, and they were locked together. And it looked like the first turn at the Ben-Hur chariot race. It was metal, sparks, blood, sweat. It was fun. Oh, it's awesome. God, it was awesome.
Mike, is there a reason the first turn is 30 feet off the gate?
Yes.
Because EC did.
There is. Yeah, no, there is. There absolutely is. It's by design. We design the track specifically so you speed up, then slow down, speed up, then slow down, so that nobody gets a whole head full of steam and can't make it to work on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's,
Knock on wood, we haven't had anybody seriously hurt.
Boy.
No, we haven't. I know I shouldn't have said it.
Yeah.
I'll edit this out. No, seriously, we have, because of EC's designs, that
Yeah.
thought in mind, I shouldn't even talk. EC, why is it like that?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, the amount of space we had, but two, like Mike said, we do try to. I do the design and I do the build out, but we talk about it and we converse about the safety factor and taking into consideration our clientele. So the jumps are the way they are for that reason. The corners are flatter. You don't carry quite as much speed. You kind of have to slow. You have to use your brakes, and you got to put your foot out in a lot of the corners. So it slows you down, and when you this goes into the argument of modern day racing versus old school racing, right? Where you don't really need to have brakes in modern racing because you never slow down. So slowing down gives a chance for somebody to late brake and close gaps, and so that's kind of why that is the way it is. We will have there will be some changes this year.
Major changes this year.
Yeah.
Bob Osborne is the one who made the statement, "I was the greatest of all times." I don't make a statement like that. It's not my position to do that, and I would never say I was. I beat him, he beat me. John George and Bobby Encinas, I beat them, they beat me. Scott Breidoff and Jeff Utterback, I beat them, they beat me. We all
on behalf of the Dirty Knobs podcast, you are the greatest side hack racer ever. You can put that on your resume.
There you go.
And we'll put that in your progress report.
When was like the end of side hacks? I think I started in 82-ish, so it wasn't even. It had
to gone by then.
Way before that.
Downhills. Side hack racing is all about downhills. Flat tracks suck on a side hack. It's just not the same animal. Corona quit. Corona finished in what, 81?
80?
80 or 80, yeah. 'Cause
80.
I came back and raced the last race of Corona. I don't know how long Norwalk last. Yarnell was gone. Randall Ranch was gone. Rancho San Diego raced a few more times, but the downhills were side.
So once the downhill tracks died out, that's crazy, right? So the side hacks also went with it.
Yeah,
man.
Well, I'll tell you this about side hacks. Thanks to Mike at the Hack Shack, he's going to bring 6 side hacks to Dirty Fest, and we, the Dirty Knobs, we have 6 side hacks as well. So there's 12 right there. We're going to have there for people to rent to be able to race side hacks.
Yeah.
So we're expecting 30 side hacks. It's going to be out of control. It's going to be we had quarters in side hacks last year.
Stuart, might be your opportunity, brother.
Yeah.
You
might be able to take on the famous Red Baron.
That's
take him
right.
on a separate. Yeah. We'll find a 6-year-old and we'll duct tape him to your side hack. You can take him off, man. Get him.
You need to push.
He doesn't even need to push.
We got the Thunder Midget. We got Rick Carter.
Exactly.
That would be amazing.
Well, hey, speaking of old time, I do want to ask Dennis about something else, something that's that I missed out on, and I want to make sure I don't miss out on it again. Dennis, you were involved in a project recently with Elaine. Can you tell us about that? Oh.
Yeah. credit where credit's due. A gentleman named Tom Hand lives out of Kansas City, Missouri. He's the one who we did the posters a couple of years ago, where he took all the covers of the BMX news and made a 3 foot by 4 foot poster out of those. And then he knew Elaine from back in the day, and I'm still friends with Elaine. We
Who's
both-
Elaine?
Huh?
Who is Elaine?
Elaine Holt. She goes Elaine Holt Osmond now, but Elaine Holt back in the day created BMX News, bicycle motocross news, and the first newspaper that covered BMX started right here in Orange County. She created it. Nancy Rink worked with her, and Bob Osborne and Wendy Osborne were photographers cutting their teeth with her in that newspaper. It went from 1975. The last issue was April of 78. And she ran this paper. It was a great paper. It's where all of us got our first exposure. Stuart was on the cover a couple times, interviews, whatnot. And I became a test writer for her through Nancy Rink and did several tests in there. And I was still just a nobody. And, just making my, it took me a while to raise my elevation of experience to those guys. Other than that, I was just having fun riding with Stu and learning from them. But then Tom Hand came up with this idea of taking all the newspapers that were printed and putting them in book form. So we printed 4 volumes. The 4-volume set of.
That's great.
Wow.
And they're Greg Hill, last cover, but they're done, nicely. You can read them. They're legible. They're reference, their research material. They're, like Mike was talking about trying to figure out what part to put on what bike. Well, you look in here and find out what parts were available at that era. And we did 80 of them. We printed 80 sets, and I just sold the last of them last week. And Mike, just so you know, Stu, Mike tried to get Toby to take yours at the race out there, but luckily you got a hold of it before Mike stole it.
Well, the funny part is it says from Elaine to Stu, and I was going to steal them and just put to a stupendous young man, Mike Miranda. Hi, yes, nobody will know.
And trust me, for $100 for these kinds of books, it's money.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If you ask me, that's the Old Testament of BMX.
It is.
Literally, right?
It really is. It's the Old Testament of BMX. And if you're a collector and you like 70s bikes, that is the best reference guide you'll ever find.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of BMX, you have to have it. And if you want to support someone, just all that aside, if you want to support someone who gave so much to BMX in the beginning, this is how you do it. So, Dennis, if you'll do another run of those books, we will help do everything we can to promote it.
Yeah.
To get those books sold. And I know I can speak for stupendous Mike Miranda. I'll buy at least one. I'll buy 2. I'll buy 2 sets.
See, now I can get rid of all the newspapers that I've been collecting, because they're all in the book form, so I can just use the other stuff as kindling now.
No, dude, I know you're kidding, but those are retirement money.
No, I don't know about that, but
well,
I'll tell you what. There's like I said, those are golden, and I'm so grateful that you're in that project, Dennis, and you did it for the right reason, for a good person, and we want to do what we can to support it.
Yep.
Dennis, are you planning on being out at Dirty Fest with a booth space with those things?
I don't want to do a booth, but I could definitely. We'll have them by then.
People will want them over there. I gotta imagine.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a booth, and if you're not in the booth wearing a bikini, then we will have. Listen, if you want to, we'll put them in our merch booth to help sell them. And you can just collect the money afterwards and give it to her.
That's fine if you want to do that.
whatever we can, anything. Again, anything we can do to help,
Okay.
and we're all in. We're all in for, because the reason we do Dirty Fest is to tell them, JV. Tell them why we do Dirty Fest, JV.
No, and we're trying to figure it out too, how to promote the sport and the history of the sport, and to try and get the kids today that have no idea about the history of the sport. Which, if you look at every other sport, all these athletes know, the origins of the sport that they're all in, and it's something that I think is lost in ours. And anything we could do to promote that and try and get the newer generation to appreciate and see where their sport came from, we're all for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
amen. Stubaroo.
Well,
Hey, speaking of jerseys, hey, Dennis Dain, it is awesome to see your setup in Rob Lane's booth.
Yeah.
Dude, Rob Lane first of all, what a huge gift he gives to BMX to show all the old Redline stuff. I mean, he's got Stewart stuff. He's got some of everybody, but his homage to Dennis Dain is pretty damn awesome.
well, do you know that frame that he has of mine is the frame from that cover picture?
No.
That's
man.
that's the big deal. That is the complete bike from the cover picture. Everything is, he's spruced it up, but that's the number plate from that race, the helmet, the jersey, everything he has is from that cover race. And that's the whole. Do you know what he's going to do next year? He's
gonna frame your progress report.
Dickhead.
Should have never told me that. You should have never told me that.
He's gotten so much borderline flack because of how good his display is. When he goes to all these shows, other show people don't want to show up if he's going to be there. This whole show thing has gotten kind of out of hand. So he's going to show up just as a participant, but he's branching out. He's going to do Cosmola's Mongoose. He's going to take my Cook brother, Mike, the Cook brother that I have from the cover of Minicycle magazine.
Minicycle, yeah, the one on Minicycle, yeah.
I still have that bike too. He's going to take it and put it back into red and gold that it was originally, and he's going to rebuild that one and display that bike. Which is
wow.
I'm trying to get rid of stuff. So he has that red line is, I don't want to say it's priceless, but that is a historical artifact.
Oh, it's priceless. It's priceless.
How many bikes are on the cover of magazines are still in their condition, still available? And so he goes, "What do you want me to do with it?" I go, "When you're done touring it, give it to the Hall of Fame. Gork can take care of it. My sidehacks in the Hall of Fame, the Rink Raiders in the Hall of Fame. That Cook Brothers, when it's done, it'll be in the Hall. That's where it belongs. People, that Hall of Fame is, God, talk about a grail. That place is just phenomenal. The fact that my sidehacks in there and people come in there and look at that thing and talk about it, it's just so makes me so happy that
I was blown away when I went into Rob's setup and saw it at Dirty Fest. I couldn't believe I was from the out. I mean, the bikes are all displayed out and it looks nice and everything, but to go in there and to sit with, just sit with Rob and let him run you through it and show you
the book.
Oh,
yeah,
the book.
The book.
Dude, I thoroughly enjoyed my time sitting there and listening to him explain all the stuff and what it was, man. It is crazy what he has in that trailer.
Yeah.
And he's only been doing it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And that's the remarkable thing, is that how fast that thing got built up and put together.
Yeah.
I have an artifact I'm donating to him. It's Perry Kramer's underwear signed. I got that from his trailer in case he wants it. or in case he needs to wipe off the bearings or something. Like it's already got grease on him.
Yeah, Rob's passion is so genuine, and he just loves to sit back and hear us tell stories. When Stu and Greg and I are standing around, he's just there taking it in.
Yeah.
And that makes him he makes him happy, and it makes us happy that he appreciates it in all his honesty.
Well, if you can't tell already, the three of us, we are his biggest fans. We absolutely adore the guy, and we love what he's doing for BMX, the history of BMX. Love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Really.
It's the rolling Smithsonian.
Yeah,
it is. It is. Yeah.
I love that he's branching out. I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I love Perry
We
Kramer's
need-
underwear in there. It's gonna be fantastic.
I mean, just because of the way he does things, right? And so
Yeah.
if he's gonna start doing other brands, and not other brands, but other pieces, he's gonna take that same care and that same pride in the showing those and reworking them. It's gonna be awesome to see what he does.
agreed. Yeah.
Well, fellas, I got to tell you, this is a good one, man. I've really enjoyed this.
A lot of fun. This was a lot of fun.
A great trip down memory lane, and with not just one Hall of Famer, but two. And it's been awesome, man. You guys have been great. And from the kid that paid paid $7 because he did and stole $5 from the starting gate. I tell you, for me to see you two guys still having a blast together, still friends, it's like 1977 all over again for me. Wow, thank you guys. Thank you for everything you've done for BMX and what you continue to do. And we really, really look forward to seeing you guys at Dirty Fest, June 6th, 7th, and 8th in Temecula. Mark your calendars. We'll see you there. Fellas?
Thank you guys.
Hey,
Great
thanks for
seeing you.
inviting me to ruin this whole show for them.
Stuart, glad you're okay, brother.
Yeah,
after that fall.
I may look good, but I don't feel good. So, but we'll heal up.
I heard you took a spill, Stu. I was bummed to hear that, man.
Yeah, well, so was I. But it's kind of an odd feeling to be weightless in the air. I mean, I felt like I was in the air for like 17 weeks. But I watched the video of it, and it's like a split second, dude. One thing I'm just like, hey, I can't do that. Don't try to do it. So, try to do it, and I can't do it. And then the next thing you know, I'm on my ass.
Gluteus Maximus.
Yes, but it shot just straight up my spine up to the top of my skull. So I'm, I went to the doctor today, and I'm still hurting, but whatever, I'll figure it out.
Rest up.
Yeah, if you need one of those special massages, I can't help you.
Oh, hey Dennis, thanks for the confidence on that motorcycle.
Oh, a 1250, a BMW 1250 dual sport. It's like, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, I wouldn't be taking it to Pismo.
No. If you stayed in the dirt, that'd be fine. It's just riding on the street anymore.
No.
Riding on the street.
No, it would just be me and my son, because he's into dual sports, so we'd be having fun together.
I love those things. If I ever went in that direction, that would be the direction. Just for me, not a 1250. That's too much for me. But you're a big guy; you can handle it.
No, I got to have something I can throw around rather than having it tip over.
That's the difference between the Supreme Commander of BMX and the King of Sidehacks, right there.
Exactly, summed it up.
Clint Eastwood in Dirty Harry, a man's got to know his limitations.
Man's got to know his limitations. Oh my gosh. You guys are awesome. You've made this, for me personally, it's been fantastic. Yeah, and I'm sure that the people that watch and listen will enjoy this very much.
For sure.
Good one, man.
Hope you guys clean us up well.
Bye.
Great
All
seeing
right,
you
guys.
guys.
Thank you,
Dennis.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Fellas, thank you so much.
Good night, guys.
See ya.
Be well.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, you bunch of dirty knobs.
Hey, this is John Cruz. No, we're not having an earthquake. I have Parkinson's. What do you think of that, Michael?
We ought to pitch in and get you a gimbal.
That would be nice. But seriously, this is John Cruz, and I obviously have something going on, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 20 years ago this year, actually. So I've chosen the Davis Finney Foundation over the years to be my voice for Parkinson's. If you're not familiar with the Davis Finney Foundation, Davis Finney is one of the winningest cyclists in American history. He's the roadie, if you guys remember those roadies out there, all that Lycra and stuff. But he is just a great man. When he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, he decided to make a difference in people's lives. And his choice was to start a foundation. And that foundation obviously wishes for a cure for Parkinson's, because there is no cure at this time. But they recognize that you have to live with Parkinson's, and your caregivers are having to live and take care of us. And the Davis Finney Foundation, that's what they do, is they only look for a cure, but they look for ways to enhance the quality of life for Parkinson's sufferers and their caregivers. So I appreciate all of you supporting the Davis Finney Foundation. It certainly means a lot to me. I know we all have something, right? So I think it's important to give back to our communities, whether it's BMX or a foundation that's close to your heart. If you don't have one, please choose mine. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, John Cruz. You certainly have made a difference in a lot of lives, including mine, and giving us the opportunity to do something good for somebody else is fantastic. So thank you. Thank you so much. And on behalf of John Cruz, please find a way to give something to the Davis Finney Foundation on behalf of John Cruz, the Dirty Knobs, and your entire BMX family. Thank you very much.
Our mission is to grow the sport at the local level. We've reached out to TOs across the country to say, what is your need to better reach new riders, both young and old? And we've put a financial number to that to make it easier for sponsors and donors to jump in and say, I got this one. You can check out our website, bmxbreakthrough.com. Reach out to me directly, j@bmxbreakthrough.com. We've got our social media at BMX Breakthrough. We've got the podcast as well. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get more kids and adults on bikes.
Velocity Bike Park is the premier bike park for riders in Southern California, with 25 miles of world-class trails, obstacles, flow track, and races for mountain biking, gravel, and BMX.
B-Side Bikes, the very best in original vintage BMX and motocross parts. With many parts to choose from, we are consistently selling and buying. Hit us up for your special requests. Chances are we can find it. Since 2015, and family ran B-Side Bikes. The passion never fades at B-Side Bikes. It just continues. B-Side Bikes.
ODI Grips, the world leader in grip technology, home of the lock-on grip system. Check them out over at www.odigrips.com.
Guys, you're watching the Dirty Knob Podcast with Mike Miranda, Eric Carter, Jim Vicente. What the heck? Are you enjoying the show? Well, hey, take a minute, stop, pause, go to your computer, torquerracing.com. You know what you want to do, torquerracing.com. Check it out. You're going to check out the new Pro X frames. You're going to check out the EK frames. You're going to check out the Barbarians. You're going to see the new Torquer shirts. You're going to see the pads. You're going to see all the new stuff. Go to torquerracing.com.
Cool Stop brake pads. High performance bicycle brake pads since 1977. Check them out at coolstop.com. That's KOOLSTOP.com.
the Dirty Knob Podcast with Mike Miranda, Eric Carter, and James Vicente. Guess what? Now, I'm Bill Ryan. This is Supercross BMX. You need to click on the supercrossbmx.com. Come on over. Buy stuff. We need to sell stuff so we can keep in business, so we can keep supporting the show. Come on. Do it.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Wilson with ProGate. We are the official gate supplier for UCI and the Olympics. We even make a gate that you can practice on in your driveway at home.
Wait a minute. Who else are you making a gate for?
We're making a gate for Dirty Fest. You guys got to come and check it out. Whatever Dirty Fest needs for this track, we're going to supply it. We're not some French knockoff, you know. We're the gold standard in BMX gates. And make sure to check us out at progate.net and bmxtracksupply.com, and we'll see you at Dirty Fest for sure. Take care, everybody.
Hey, folks, this is Mike Rodriguez, a.k.a. Mr. Crit. I've been racing and making number plates since 1980, you know, like when they used to do one-pedal starts. But, you know, Crit Plate has been around for 43 years. The last 4 decades, the who's who of BMX have raced a Crit number plate straight to the handlebars. And, you know, you get that guy, Mike Savage, the international man of BMX, still doing it strong. And, you know, back in the day, the plates used to be reversible because there was multiple sanctions. And you could put, you know, one sanction on one side, one on the other. Now you just got one. But Crit is still reversible. And that logo is still on the back for guys like Mike and your rad guys, you know, like Mike Miranda, who would turn those handlebars and twist them up. And we got it rad just for you.
All right. Hey, where will we see those plates?
Those plates you can see at every single bike shop that stocks BMX stuff in the USA and Canada.
And where will you be at? Will you be at an event sometime soon?
Damn, I'm sponsoring the Dirty Fest, and I can't wait to come out to Southern California and get dirty.
Amy grips, still made here in the USA. Used by world champions like me, Tommy Brackens. If you want to know more about the best grips on earth, go to amy.com.
All right, Mark, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dino Bartoli from ABSA Pro.
And I'm Mark Darcy from ABSA Pro.
Together, we are bringing you the ABSA Pro Bike Show Association. Our mission is to bring together a bike show community across the United States. We have these bike shows. We're going to run them all the same with consistent rules and a detailed, organized judging format. We wanted to make an organization so that you guys can get points. So there's a point system, a code of conduct, rules and regulations. We have a membership that's specifically old school bike shows. You want to get on board all that hard work and dedication that you put into your bikes. You want to show it off. You want to have it justified, all that hard work you've done. You want to bring it out to our shows. You want to join our memberships, get associated with us.
Actually, our awards are phenomenal awards. We have best of show trophies. We have 17 classes. There's 3 trophies per class. And we even hand out super clean awards to some of the other participants that are there. So come check it out. Come bring your bikes, enjoy the shows, and enjoy what we're doing with the bike show community.
Don't forget to sign up.
Our website has all our judging critiques on it, how we judge, what we judge, our 50-point scale with quarter points. We take it down to the nitty-gritty to make sure the best of the bike wins.
Dino, where do we go to find out that information?
You go to absapro.com. That's absapro.com.
Let me say that again, absapro.com.
Ready?
And that's going in.
Yeah. We need a doing. All right.
What's your nickname for like on the mic? Do you have a?
No.
You don't have.
I don't really have a nickname. It's Mike.
Oh.
Just Mike on the mic.
Dain in my app.
She got one.
That's getting edited.
Yeah.
We're putting that in.
Hi, I'm Mike Miller, author of Day One by Michael Miller. And a special offer going out. Anybody who buys the book between now and Dirty Fest, which is April 28th through 30th, I'm going to take all the money from the book and send it to the Davis Finney Foundation for those with Parkinson's. So get your copy on Amazon.com and we'll make a donation.
Hey, what was the name of that book again?
Day One by Michael Miller, which is me.
I'm sorry. Hey, what was that name again?
Day One by Michael Miller.
Hey, support the podcasts that support us, our friends. The fine folks over there at All Things BMX, which is our favorite Wednesday night live podcast, as you know. Our buddies over there at Beer Budget BMX, Big Bike BMX, and BMX Weekly. Check them out. Check them out. Our friends.
What's up, everybody? It's your friend Isaac from Big Bike BMX, and I've got a podcast with my best friend, 80s BMX Craig.
Yep. And guess what, you guys? If you have enjoyed your time here on the Dirty Knobs podcast, we'd love for you guys to come over and hang out with us at Big Bike BMX, where we've got all your old school legends and BMX from the past and today at Big Bike BMX. Isaac,
come check us out. We'd love the opportunity to win you over. And if not, hey, it's just another place to talk about BMX with your grimy friends. It's fun.
Hey, Dale Holmes, I want to tell you something. One of my favorite podcasts that I never miss is BMX Weekly. Even though it has an accent, I still love it.
Cheers, Mike. You can get all the podcasts on bmxweekly.com. Old school, mid school, today's school. Check it out.
Yeah, BMX Weekly.
Hey, here we go. Hey, Beer Budget BMX, baby. Coming at you live from the Beer Budget studios over here at the Hack Shack Quarantine. Oh, man, we're coming in hotter than Satan's nutsack. Yeah, we are dirtier than an Alabama strip club where reclass pros go and get lap dances by their half-sister. Yeah, the only show that'll make you second-guess your life choices like a Amish on an e-bike.
Hey, if you guys enjoy what you just listened to, make sure you tune in every Wednesday night to the All Things BMX show, the only live streaming podcast show in the game right now. Even ask Mike. He's been on. Vicente's been on. Still waiting for that other guy to come on the show. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And you can also find us at allthingsbmxshow.com.
Keep it dirty.
I don't think I've ever ridden a side hack.
Even better.
I think it's going to be a battle. Can you imagine these two will be arguing of who's going to pedal? Who's got the handlebars? It's a control issue.
That would not go well. That would not go well.
No.
No.
I
Not that I don't trust Stu. He doesn't fit over there. That's not his world. He knows it.
No.
It's not made for somebody his size.
It's a monkey, not a gorilla, right?
Yes, there you go.
Hey, it's always good to mix it up.
It's a monkey, not a gorilla.
And the thing is, Mike.
EC, you know what JV said earlier before the show?
No.
He said,
here we go.
He was telling me, he goes, what do you mean here we
You
go?
know this is bullshit. Whatever
Come
he's going
on.
to say is bullshit.
You
know this. Go ahead.
EC, I said, James, you can't say it, man. You can't say it. And JV goes, do you know he never won a pro main?
I never said that.
You did. You absolutely.
EC. No, I didn't. Let me tell you this, EC. You know how I said this over the weekend, the past weekend, and I said, and I just, this is like a light bulb that came to me. You know when you watch the presidential debates, and then they have fact checkers at the end, and they go, "Oh no, he got this wrong. He got this." Mike needs a fact checker. He needs a fact checker.
So good.
Dude, I just said to JV, I go, man, you can't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
You know this, EC. You know this. The shit that comes out of his mouth is definitely, it's flipped around, it's changed. This person said this, but didn't, like the whole thing.
No massage. He's not afraid of a massage.
No. Hey.
It's John Purse has the most. It's the most mains made. I'm sorry, it wasn't that. I messed up.
The most mains made.
Purse has
Also, most times kicked in the helmet when he's laying on the dirt.
Yeah.
By Eric Carter. Kicked him in the head when he's laying in the dirt.
Well, this is.
Don't skip over that.
I did kick him in the head. I
accidentally
kicked him as hard as I could in the head.
I was trying to put my kickstand down, and his helmet was in the way, and I was just moving it. Trying to move
If I could have kicked him more times, I would have.
I accidentally kicked him as hard as I could in the head.
Several times, Your Honor.
There was no accident to me kicking him in the head as hard as I could. The only thing I wish I could have done is stood up when I did it instead of being sitting on
Your Honor, as I proved at Frogtown, I tend to get these cramps where my legs straighten out, and it just happened to be kept coming as his head was right there, and it was out of control. I'm sorry.
He cleaned me out so bad in the last turn, and he actually I think he talked with Pistol or maybe Everett, because he was on Vans, I believe, at the time when he did it. And I blew by him like he was parked on jack stands like 3 turns before that, man. And he said he was embarrassed because the way the crowd reacted, because when I passed him.
Like always, everyone knew it was coming.
Come on. You know it's going to happen.
Everyone knew it was coming.
He just basically jumped the cone. I mean, he didn't jump the cone. There wasn't a cone there, but he basically dove so far inside it. If there would have been a cone there, he would have jumped the cone and just cleaned me out. And as I was rolled back over, he was just sitting below me. So I just started donkey kicking him in the head. I got disqualified for the whole weekend, dude.
Listen, Clayton, what can I tell you? I thought his helmet was on fire. I was trying to put it out. I was doing a public service, the wildfires. I was just trying to put it out. But I don't know what you want me to say. They could have won the Nora D Cups. Come on. That's pretty good right there. That's pretty good. The Nora D Cups. Not as good as menstrual cramps. That to me was the highlight of the episode.
That was actually pretty funny. That was really funny.
Menstrual cramps.